Today we are looking northwest on Reservoir Road toward its termination at Canal Road, the towpath, the Capitol Crescent Trail, and the Potomac. Behind us, up the hill, is MacArthur Boulevard. As we walk further down the hill, we will see on the left, at the Do Not Enter signs, a very rough path that is the last 20 feet of the path that extends southeast from here along the south edge of the Georgetown Reservoir. Then the path arrives at the one-block stretch of Potomac Road at Q Street that we visited in the video of Friday, January 5, 2023. Available on the Holy Trinity channel of YouTube and the parish's website. Before heading down the hill, let's stop to admire this grand house and to read the plaque. Dedicated to Joseph Moore. He was, the plaque says, a manumitted African American who lived and worked on this site in the early 1800s. Located on this site was a nursery owned by Thomas Mann, a name also given online as Maine, M-A-I-N-E. Mann supplied trees to Thomas Jefferson and other landowners. He also employed 5 or 6 African Americans as nursery workers and also taught them arboriculture and to read and to write. By 1816, the plaque says, Moore was a respected grocer on this site. As you look at this view, what do you see? The beauty seems clear to us, and probably to those who live in this house. If the house was built by someone for immediate sale, that person would have seen this site as a means of making money. For the driver looking for a parking space, the site would disappear, at least until the space was found. So what we see depends on what we're looking for. What we see depends on our hopes and dreams, our motivations, our prejudices, and the habits and thoughts of our social class. In the first reading at our Christmas Masses, the prophet Isaiah tells us this: "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Upon those who dwelt in the land of gloom, a light has shone." This darkness limits us all until we realize that we were in the darkness and we choose to dispel it. Somehow, when Thomas Mann looked at former slaves, he saw the potential not only for skilled service for his nursery, but also for growth in his work in the workers themselves. Such an expansive view was probably quite unusual at the time. Suppose Thomas Jefferson came for a visit. What would he have seen? Thomas Mann, the nursery owner, certainly. Jefferson might even have shown him some respect based on Mann's reputation, which must have motivated Jefferson's visit in the first place. Would Jefferson have greeted Mann as a fellow landowner or as a tradesman whose produce he, Jefferson the grandee, wanted? It's hard to imagine that some sense of social class did not influence their interactions. What seems certain is that Jefferson would not have seen the black workers except peripherally since Jefferson was accustomed to having his own slaves around. Remember the story in the Gospel of Luke of the woman who walks into the dinner that Jesus is attending in the home of a prominent Pharisee and anoints Jesus' feet. Jesus asks the Pharisee, "Simon, do you see this woman?" It is clear that the Pharisee does not see this woman, because high-ranking men did not condescend to see women in general, and certainly none whom the culture regarded as sinful. Yet Jesus saw her. This was the first miracle that he performed whenever he met the sinners of his own day. He saw them, he noticed them, he paid attention to them, he honored their desire for a better life, and helped them move in that direction by healing the internal wounds that social ostracism had caused. He helped them experience God's love through himself in his humanity. He broke through the darkness in which they were living, a darkness of despair and desperation, to lead them into the light of hope and courage and new life. He helped them experience the new covenant, quoted in our first reading from the prophet Jeremiah. This covenant, this promise of love and new life, Jesus reminds them, is written on their hearts and in their minds. They have only to see it, and they do see it as Jesus points it out to them. So Jesus invites us out of our unseeing and into a new way of seeing, receiving, welcoming, and honoring, much of which can be done without words. Let's invite ourselves into the new covenant today to bring new life to our suffering world.